flush them further down the drain.
Sure.
So we have that program. Part of that program just talks about coping with change. It gives you with role models, and then financial. It also deals with financial intelligence. Mzala will take you through financial intelligence, and Dr. Sibane will take you with resetting. How do you reset? How do you reflect, reset, and rebuild when you're coping with change? And Mokete Madonsela deals with specifically tools around emotional intelligence and coping with change in such a way that you can maintain balance despite the difficulties that come with sudden and unexpected change, which is exponential when you're dealing with the fourth industrial revolution in dealing with COVID-19. So those tools will include meditation, exercise, affirmations, etc. The same things that will give you dopamine, the dopamine that you would have gotten from alcohol, but they also help you to restructure your brain. You know, you can hack your brain. I think young people understand the idea of hacking. You can hack the computer, but you can also hack your ego by rewiring your brain. And so some of the exercises you'll be given in the tools will help you to rewire your brain. Because if, for example, every time you have a difficulty, you collect a glass. So that's how your brain has been wired over time. You need to rewire those neural pathways in your brain. It's called the plasticity of the brain. The brain is remoldable, and neuroscience has told us that it's no longer true that you can only bend and reshape your brain when a child is still under 3 years old. You can do it throughout your life, but there are tools to do that. So as part of the agility and resilience, leadership for agility and resilience in coping with radical change and uncertainty. We also do a course that is called Enterprising Communities, which a community could be a group like the group FMS, or it could be a group of unemployed graduates to be trained to deal with, because one of the challenges, if you're a student, of course, your challenge is getting through the difficult university challenges. So the agility one could be very much of assistance to you. And a straight emotional intelligence training program could also be of assistance to you. And one of the important emotional intelligence training that is provided by Tshwane, where we have the course, also includes incorporating gardening. Because again, it's about how do you structure your brain? How do you keep yourself busy? How do you keep joy? The joy that you thought you were going to get from alcohol, which is a moment of joy in the lifetime of sadness. So we do the enterprising community, which is about training communities on SDGs and helping people to find ways of making a living, even if they don't have any capital. We say one of the things that apartheid did to us in South Africa was to turn everyone into a job seeker. The enterprising community is to return communities and individuals into being creators of wealth and in the process creators of jobs. So that's the enterprising communities program. And then we have ad hoc programs. And the last one I said is great. The one is epic leadership. So we just train young people and what is epic leadership? It is leadership that is ethical, purpose-driven, impact-conscious, and committed to serve. What it does is that it centers your life around meaning and purpose. And whenever, for example, you're going to drink sometimes because you're bored. But if you have created a blueprint for your life, a vision for your life, you're not likely to be bored because you're forever integrating information and projects to pursue your purpose in life.
Interesting. 51 minutes after 6 o'clock. After 3 o'clock, we just used to speaking to you guys in the evening. If you just jumped in on the line, we're speaking to Professor Thuli Madonsela from the Tumor Foundation, speaking to us about the number of things that they're doing, or rather the number of activities that they've been busy with to ensure that our young people are actually taken care of, especially when we're looking at how young people today have become victims of alcohol abuse, substance abuse, drug abuse, and especially in addressing social issues. And I think before I get into, an opportunity to, sort of enlighten young people on how they can join the Tuma Foundation, my other, burning question, Prof, it's especially on what you were outlining on the role of the enterprise. By and large, the other challenge, especially in terms of the employment space or the corporate space, is that our young people, and this is some professors as well who have actually mentioned it, and the young student leaders to say that it seems as though that our education, whether from basic or in higher education, doesn't necessarily empower them to become job creators, but it just creates people that are going to be job seekers, and that has created a huge challenge for us, because of the majority of young people are qualified, are graduates, but they are not absorbed in the job market. And I mean, with COVID-19, we've realized how many jobs were being shred. I mean, just now there's other news that were coming through that SABC has actually laid off 303 staff members. My question is, what is it that institutions of higher learning at this point in time should be teaching, to young people, so that they can be, different in terms of their approach when they go to the corporate space, and maybe just as an influential figure in our society, you can just enlighten us. What do you think should be the solution with regards to that specific challenge that we seem to be, gradually, sort of getting in our society?
I think that all institutions, as part of the COVID recovery program and sustainable development goals, should integrate an enterprising mind training in everyone's program, entrepreneurship. Humans are the only species where children are not taught how to be self-sufficient. All animals and even plants are taught to be self-sufficient, but it's not accidental with humans that we were not taught to be self-sufficient. We were, before industrialization, we were self-sufficient. 19th century, that came with industrialization, people were demobilized deliberately from the self-sufficiency. From self-sufficiency, because industry needed an army of people who were desperate for jobs. Come the fourth industrial revolution, industry doesn't need these people because there are machines to replace them. And therefore, as part of our COVID recovery program, we need to integrate from cradle to grave, training people on self-sufficiency. And there's so many things that people can do, and a lot of them don't need money. In our program on enterprising communities, we emphasize that not everything that you need to do requires money. I'm often shocked, for example, when I hear a doctor or a lawyer who says I'm unemployed, or an MBA graduate who says I'm unemployed. Because at the very least, you could be a self-employed person who provides that service that you've been trained for. So all you need is a website. You don't even need, business cards these days. A website and a profile indicating what you can offer just based on the knowledge you have. And those are the things that I think need to be trained. Our students need to be trained. Enterprise development should be given to every student, not just the business students, the lawyers, the doctors, the public admin students, because not everyone is going to be absorbed in government.
Sure. Interesting. Just going back to the gist of our discussion, alcohol abuse in our society is a big issue. On the line, we're joined by Professor Thuli Madonsela, all the way from the Tuma Foundation. We are, speaking based on the fact that, with the new curfew that has kicked in during this festive season, particularly on New Year's Eve, Baragwanath Hospital, which is regarded as the largest, the institution, rather the hospital that has the largest trauma unit in the Southern Hemisphere, didn't record any patients in their trauma unit, which was actually a plus for us. And also just reminding us that perhaps as a country, we need to relook at how we deal with alcohol. And earlier on, Prof did highlight as well that I think guidance as well in terms of how young people, to be specific, manage alcohol abuse, alcohol consumption, so to say. And I know that at this point in time, and normally in this show, because the station is a youthful station, we look at young people, but I need to also highlight that actually there's a lot of elders as well that are battling with alcohol abuse. I mean, if you look at the statistics of, gender-based violence, you listen to the gist of it. It starts there, ubaba nakaphuzile, that's when he sees the need ukuthi aphakamisa isandla, or umama nakaphuzile kula aqala ukushaya ubaba, and all those challenges that we are facing as a community. Yeah, Prof Thuli is here on the line speaking to us around that. Prof, I want to, just go a little bit in communities. I'm a parent, I'm listening to the show now. Perhaps I've got a child that seems to be battling with substance abuse. What would be your advice to me?
Okay, the first thing I would say to parents, be compassionate towards the child who's battling with alcohol, because one of the things we can do is shout at them, berate them for doing something wrong. Because one of the reasons you may be hooked is because you're trying to deal with feelings of inadequacy and just trying to distract yourself from trouble. So that's the first thing, is the parent should be compassionate and try to engage your child constructively. Secondly, there are programs on the internet that can assist you with giving you what you're trying to get from alcohol. You're trying to get some kind of dopamine, some kind of distraction from your problems. You can get that from meditation, from yoga, from exercise. There are also organizations when it has become a real problem. There are organizations such as Alcoholics Anonymous, and there are others that are not obviously called Alcoholics Anonymous. Just organizations such as, I've spoken about Tuma, but Tuma works with agencies such as Unafundo, but are focusing on these to give you the kind of intelligence that you need: spiritual intelligence, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, which can help you to make the right decisions. Because we're saying now, stop using alcohol. But when you have programmed yourself, or over the years, your head has been wired to always pick up a glass, to pick up a bottle when you feel uncomfortable, it's going to happen automatically. So you need to be taught alternative ways to cue yourself differently so that you don't resort to the bottle when you're in trouble. And parents can then firstly, be compassionate and understanding to your child. The second thing is help the child to research a program. It helps when they research it themselves, where they can go. And thirdly, make a child aware of how alcohol can squander their future. For example, for some people it makes you violent, which makes you engage in domestic violence and other forms of violence. Other people can involve them in crime. Right now, we're speaking, alcohol has been temporarily banned. There are people who are going everywhere buying alcohol, and they exposing themselves to the underworld, which can suck them in and expose them to other drugs. So that notice those things. Maybe this is a good period to dry out, so to speak, and find alternatives to alcohol.
Interesting. It's a minute after the hour, 4 o'clock. Professor Thuli Madonsela speaking to us. Prof, I'm going to let you go because of time. But before I let you go, I think important questions. There's a lot of young people, obviously, that are just streaming through the show on various platforms. And I think it will be an injustice for us to raise these issues, tell them about the Tuma Foundation, but not give them an opportunity to also come and explore what Tuma Foundation is doing. Are the Tuma Foundation doors open to young people? And if they are, how can they enter?
Absolutely, the Tshwane Foundation doors are open to young people. That's another way to distract yourself from alcohol, living a meaningful life, becoming part of a community, pursuing goals that are bigger than yourself. So the Tshwane Foundation is a democracy, leadership, and literacy foundation that seeks to make sure that democracy is molded so that it works for all. I mean, you've seen what is happening in the US. A lot of people are going to take it as there was a bad president who inspired people to do bad things, but we also have to look at the push and pull factors. The pull factors is where they were led to go, but the push factors is that there's social injustice. People feel left behind, and the Tshwane Foundation is giving particularly young people tools to work within democracy, mold democracy, and understand that democracy has plasticity. It can be reshaped so that it works for young people, it works for our communities, and it addresses racial, gender, disability, religious, sexuality-related, and all other imbalances. And at Tshwane, you get trained. Like, you can interview one of these days, one of our ambassadors, for example, we train you on a leadership program that is called Epic Leadership, that is preparing better leaders that will go into government, introduce sustainable development, not steal from us, not be corrupt, but move things forward to all of us. If you interview people like Kabelo, you can interview Wendy, you can interview a whole lot of our ambassadors, they'll tell you what ethic leadership has done for them in terms of giving them tools to make things move forward without violence, without insult, just a better way to influence and inspire people to think the way you want them to think and to act the way we want them to act as part of a new leadership approach.
Sure. I know I said I'm letting you go, but you just said something very important. And I keep on asking myself all the time. Now, as a mother, a prof, who's a professional and academic as well, what makes us as young people, what makes us to be so disrespectful the minute we get a qualification or two? What makes us to sort of lose our respect for the elders and the ways in which we are raised? What do you think causes that, and how can it be solved? Maybe.
Well, I think our young people are being brought up in an environment where respect just generally has declined. As somebody who's been raised as a Swazi-speaking person, I do believe that the Bible says young people should respect grown-ups. But as a Zulu Swazi person, I also know that both Swazis and Zulus believe kuhlonishwa nagabi. So it's not just for young people to respect grown-ups. Grown-ups should respect young people. And we just need to bring back Ubuntu. We need to bring back respect. What we say to young people, we have to think twice. Because people learn mostly from what you do than from what you say. And if a child has been brought up in an environment where people berate each other when they're talking, as we've seen in our parliament ever since after, I think mostly ever since after the Mandela administration, we've seen people engage with disrespect. Those are the images that people learn, and those are the images that people emulate. And what we've seen where it takes society, and what we've seen happening in the US is an example of what the future holds when we don't bring humanity back to the way we engage with each other.
Sure. 6 minutes after 4 o'clock, Professor Thuli Madonsela speaking to us on FM 93.6, and we are the Capital Talk, bringing you all the interesting stories. And of course, in the flip side of this, we're speaking to Professor Mukhola from the Tshwane University of Technology on the resumption and return of students to campus. Professor, thank you so much for speaking to us. We hope you won't be a stranger. We'll definitely speak to you. And I think most importantly, just as you were mentioning, Kabelo is actually a very this is like his second home. We speak to him quite often. We'll be speaking to him, I think, in the next week regarding the reopening of schools. Because I know that he's quite active as well in providing leadership in the basic education space.
So that's wonderful. He's one of our very competent young leaders. Although the entire Tshwane community is full of young leaders that have been trained into leadership skills, and they also deal with projects that are moving society forward.
Thank you so much, Prof. May you have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you. Blessings to everyone. A good year ahead.
Indeed, indeed. Oh, yes, man. I'm checking some of your comments right here on Tshwane FM, Tshwane Space FM Space 93.6. And of course, even on my personal Facebook account, I see the Karabo Labumswinara Kanwi. Thank you so much for the support, my brother. And another interesting one, just a very sad one here. Steve Stivovo says, my brother, all the best. I'm in quarantine. I tested positive. Good show you always keep. Thank you so much, my brother. We're sending you all the love from Tshwane FM. We're saying be strong. We know that you can actually, pass through this virus, and I'm just sending this warm hugs, these messages of comfort and strength to each and every person that is fighting some struggle in their life. And I'm saying Haumong. It's 8 minutes after 4 o'clock. At this point in time, we're supposed to be having Professor Mukhola. We're supposed to be here by now. I'm assuming that he's probably held up somewhere, so we're going to try and give him a call and see if we can have him on the line, because I see that it's time now. And if you are just joining us now, we are also coming through to you live from TUTFM 96.2. It is your ultimate dial. My name is Mokete Radebe. I am your news pioneer. It is the 7th of January 2021. 7 days into this new year, man. 7 days into this amazing year. Great things will be happening, man. We remain optimistic irrespective of what. This is the year where we'll recover almost everything. But thank you so much for joining us. 9 minutes after 4 o'clock. We want to take one song. This one is by Chazelle Brothers. When we come back, we should be having Professor Mukhola joining us on the line with other TUT Executive Management Council members that should be accompanying him. Professor. Yes, bro. Which side are you? You are home. So we're going to do it over the phone. I said 1600, 4 p.m. Yeah. No, it's fine. Let's do it over the phone. Okay, please WhatsApp me the numbers of the other person, the one from Said. Okay, all right. Oh. Okay, I'll definitely get it. I'll be able to get it quickly. Okay, awesomeness. Sharp. I'll be starting in about, let me just get their numbers. I'll be starting in about 2-3 minutes. I'll phone you back. Awesomeness.
Tshwane FM 93.6, Cap City's #1 radio station.
What if you get a president of Mzala Africa? You man, someone will have a Tshwane. Put on Facebook, book and answer Patel. Manava never mixed it, and why it was one of the snacks. President let them come and begin not to write the robot again. I read Emma them from Kunne. Hey, yellow, I need to get a Takano, Marwa, Emma, the one of the
Capital Breakfast
on Tshwane FM.
Monday to Friday, 6 till 9 a.m. # Rise to the Morning.
When I'm home, I'm shining silver. When I'm home, I teach a bully.
Hello? Yes, Prof. I'm aiding them on the conference call. So please hold on. All right. Hello, Theo. How are you, Theo?
Hello?
Yes, hi, how are you? Do you hear me?
Oh, the line is not good.
Do you hear me now? Do you hear me now? All right. It's Mokete Radebe FM. You're with Prof Mukhola here. It's a conference call. Yeah, we'll be live on the radio station. Okay, yeah, if you can just hold on now. When you take it to the studio, it's gonna be much better. So we're just trying to add Dr. Mushatoni now, ne? No, we're just discussing any issues that students might want to know with regards to the year 2021. Okay, you can just you can WhatsApp. I'll send you a WhatsApp now. You can then send me their number. All right, I'll just add them on the call as well. Awesome. Is it Lucas? Lucas is Villas. I have his number. I'll tell him now. Okay. All right. No problem. Okay. No problem. But you can just remain with the call in case there's anything that we need. And then. Okay. Hello? Rukas, hi. Yes, how are you? Yes, it's Mokete, Tshwane FM.
Room 912.
It's Mokete, Tshwane FM. Corporate Affairs and Marketing, Rukas. The radio station, Tshwane radio station, Tshwane FM.
Hi, how are you? Okay.
We're just speaking to you now, so we're having an interview regarding student issues. They said we should have you on the line instead of him.
Oh wow, thank you. We must continue. How's your day?
Okay, so I hear you.
Oh wow. Okay.
Not everyone wants to run live on air. The language is like you.
Hello, Prof.
My cousin is here. That is so much.
Prof Mukhola.
Room 912. Weekdays on Tshwane FM 93.6.
Tshwane FM 93.6, Cap City's #1 radio station.
What if you get a president of Mzala? Mzala Africa. You mean I'm someone who has Tshwane? Put on Facebook and book and answer Pashe. Mana when you never mix it, there's
Professor.
Tshwane FM 93.6,
let's just
Cap
go to
City's #1 radio station.
Awesomeness.
What if you get a president of Mzala? Mzala Africa. You mean I'm someone who has Tshwane?
Call us now, 010-382-4936. That's
21 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock. And man, this is where we are. You know, the way in which you guys are fighting Prof Mukhola, you'd swear that, definitely. Something but this is where we are, 21 minutes after 6 o'clock. Professor Stanley Mukhola is joining us on the line. And of course, unfortunately, other colleagues who were meant to join in couldn't. And I need to be just clear on this one. Prof didn't decline on us. Actually, the intention was that he's going to join us in studio, but there was a miscommunication in terms of the time. As you guys know, that this show is normally aired between 6 and 8 p.m., but we wanted to move it between 3 and 6 so that we allow them to be in studio. But there was a miscommunication in that regard, and we apologize for that. But yeah, Professor Mukhola is joining us on the line, although he had wanted to come through and see you guys in person. I see some of your comments as well. Siyabonga Butelezi, Phineas Kapula, Mashiko Christina, Phineas Kapula, as well as Letlokhonolo as well is in there just joining us. 32 minutes have gone since the hour 6 o'clock. Professor, compliments to the new and thank you so much for joining us.
Compliments to you, Mukete, and to all your listeners. Thank you very, very much for inviting me. And again, I want to apologize for the miscommunication because I was about to leave 4 o'clock now for the in-person studio. So it appears something did not go well. So I really want to apologize. My intention was to be right there at the studio.
Yeah, I think it would have been very nice for the students to be able to see you in person. Especially because most of them have not seen you in a while, and the majority don't even get to see the DVC. It would have been nice, but I do promise, however, that we're gonna have you very soon. I think in studio, so that we can be able to have that sort of interaction with the students. But yeah, the burning issue, COVID-19 were on level 3, and there was a lot of communication from the university with regards to the returning of students. But just to jump in, can you just give us a background in terms of what is it that is planned, in terms of the returning of students from the university side? I know that they were supposed to return on the 4th, but there was communication to delay that return. Just take us through the background and what informed some of those delays, and where are we as it stands?
Thank you very, very much, Mukete. Indeed, now we want to apologize for this problem that we experienced with COVID-19. It's giving everybody a hassle. As you know, initially we're supposed to be starting our academic year on the 4th of January this year. Unfortunately, when COVID-19 now struck again, the second wave, we realized we're caught off guard, and then we have to really think, how are we going to approach it? This was coupled with the president's announcement that now we are now going to lockdown level 3, and then we have to think on our feet, what do we do then? Then the DC issued a communique to say now we are putting off the 4th and the 5th aside, and then the deans will meet with the students, of course, in order to plan how do we go about it. Indeed, we met yesterday with the deans, and thereafter I met with all the FRC, the top 19, the students with the DVC side, in order to see how to take the academic year 2020 ahead. Yes, we agreed that now we are going to start again on the 11th. First, examinations that were not able to be completed in the first semester will be commencing on the 11th, meaning on Monday next week. And then we say, due to this lockdown level 3, what do we do with the students who are not going to be actually congesting in classrooms, because now that might create a huge problem for us. We say we are going to continue with the remote learning, but students who are not able to connect, they'll be able to indicate to their department. Then we'll make arrangements to have in-person contact. But most of our work will be done remotely. But people who are supposed to do the practical will be required to go to the classrooms, to the laboratories. What we are doing now as we are planning is to take them in small numbers. That will start on Monday. And then we are going to work right up to Saturday, sometimes on Sundays, because now we are going to have small numbers in the laboratory so that now we can complete all our laboratory work, all our practicals. This affects mainly the Faculty of Engineering and Environment, the Science, the Arts, to some extent also to Humanities and Management Sciences, so that now we can complete the 2020 academic year. And on the 15th of March, we start with our examination. That's where we are at the moment.
26 after 4 o'clock. I'm seeing some of your comments here, and we'll be definitely jumping through into some of the questions that you guys have. And I see Vanile Andile Malefo says, we're listening as always, Mokete. Hi, Mokete, may please pass these 3 questions to Prof. Mukhola. I think we'll be expecting those 3 questions that they come through. And just appreciating all those comments from Mamshiko Christina Matlo. Prof. Ufitile Banabeso, as we had outlined earlier on. Prof, in terms of now the plans that you have just outlined at this point in time, I think from time to time, there's always a question in terms of what has informed the university's decision. And in this regard, I mean, having came with this, strategic plan to address, the big elephant in the room, which is COVID-19 and its rising infections. What informed the methods that you guys have decided upon? Did you guys, discuss it with health officials to look at, the veracity of whether those methods won't also, in one way or the other, add into the infection? But secondly to that, in terms of the effectiveness of making sure that students do get adequate opportunities for teaching and learning, did you also consult on those regards? So, what form of interaction was there between the university, its, managers, and those that are at the receiving end in this regard, which are students and maybe other affected stakeholders, so to say?
No, indeed, we consulted Mokete. First thing, we spoke with the deans, who are the main co-leaders of the academic project. And thereafter, we decided now to go to the students who are actually on the receiving end, as you said, so that now everybody is taken on board. So after consulting with the students yesterday, the VC issued a communique to say to everybody, this is the way we are going to be going, because now we have got no time left. Otherwise, we are going not to a complete academic year. So everybody's with us. But you see in that community, we are very, very, very upright to say students will be required, one, to always wear a mask once on campus. Two, to make sure that now they sanitize all the time. Three, to make sure that now if anyone violates these rules, we'll be able to move you off campus, because you'll be a danger to other students, because we can't take a risk. These students are real. This COVID-19 is a serious, serious threat to human life. As you heard, Mokete, Gauteng is the most hit at the moment. So we can't take a chance. We are working together with the Department of Health. We are working together with all the stakeholders. This is why we are holding meetings left and right to make sure that now we don't miss anything that will compromise the life of our students. We didn't send the communique. We are banning all the gatherings. There will be no gathering until March, so that now we don't allow more than 5 people together. We will be able to really transmit this virus seriously to affect our young people. So we don't want to lose life here, Mokete. This is why we are really upfront with everybody that this time around we are going to be very, very strict, and people must just tolerate us, because it's about life and death.
29 minutes have gone since the hour 4 o'clock. Tshwane FM 93.6. It is the station that continues to rock you most. My name is Mokete Radebe, your news pioneer. The Capital Talk coming through to you live, from 3 and 6 p.m. On this lovely Thursday afternoon. Just, bringing you the special broadcast where we're speaking to Professor Mukhola. He's the Deputy Vice Chancellor for teaching and for teaching and learning with technology there. Just a quick recap in terms of COVID-19 in South Africa has recorded today a further 844 deaths and 21,832 new cases in the green milestone. And I think a further worrying, state of affairs, so to say, because the numbers are now becoming names, and it's names that we're quite familiar with. Prof, I think I want us to be very cautious, because as I'm just reading these updates with COVID-19, it is now becoming a reality that people's lives are, going to be in danger if we are not going to tread carefully here. Apart from the excitement, or rather, the goal of saying we want to finish the academic year, which is a very important call, has the university adequately, strengthened itself, prepared for the students, and to ensure that, unlike other institutions, we don't find ourselves having a rise in infections? Can you safely say that you guys, in what you guys have actually planned out, that it is an adequate plan to ensure that students won't be at a risk of, being infected with COVID-19?
Mokete, we've done our homework, we've done our planning, and even today there was a meeting of the COVID-19 task team. From our side, we have done everything. The sanitizers will be there, the masks will be there. You know, this is a simple thing to control the COVID-19. If only you behave and do as advised, it will never be a problem to you. Like we say, Mukete, people must just keep a distance of at least 2 meters. People must just wear the mask when you are in public. People must simply sanitize. If you wash your hands regularly, this disease will never be a problem to you. Now, what is left of us is to educate our young people. Don't take it for granted because this disease is a killer. It is killing more people, it is affecting more people. We know for sure, people close to us now, some of them have died, some of them have been affected, and we cannot take things for granted. This is why we say, let us work together to control this virus. If we cooperate, definitely we'll all be safe. We don't want anyone to take a chance. This is why if we are seen on campus without a mask, we definitely can guarantee you we are going to remove you to go back where you came from. If we see you not sanitizing, if we see you not keeping a distance, we are definitely going to deal with you. This is why, Mukete, the government came with a very stringent rules to say, if you are found in a public place without a mask, you will be charged 20,000 rands. We can't charge you, but we can make the police arrest you. That we can do. If you are not, you can be charged 20,000 rands, or you can be imprisoned, or both. So we don't want anyone to take a chance here. Let us work together to control this deadly virus.
Interesting. 33 minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock. And if you are in parts of the north of Pretoria, all the way to Soshanguve, we're coming through to you through TUT-FM 96.2. It is your ultimate dial. And of course, if you are in the south, and of course, in the inner city of Pretoria, and the west of Pretoria, the east of Pretoria, you are tuning in Tshwane FM 93.6. My name is Mokete Radebe. It is a multi-exclusive broadcast where we're speaking to the university's executive management. And of course, just representing them at this point in time, it is the DVC of TLT, that is Professor Mukhola, speaking to us about the resumption, or rather the return of students safely to the university amid the spike in infections as far as COVID-19 is concerned. I'll be checking some of your comments or other questions in that regard on social media. I see Nico Nkuna Njaka says, okay, wait, is that Gibson? Okay, yes, Finas Kapola says, I have a few questions for Prof. One, few first-time applicants have received emails saying they should report to the university. How will they be assisted since the university doesn't allow students without permits? And I think we're supposed to be joined by Dr. Michael Mushatoni from the Registers Environment, and unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, he couldn't join us, Phineas. I'm not sure if Prof would be able to assist there, but if he can, I'm going to request him to do so. But the second question, Prof, is was the initial plan when the new academic calendar started, since the university has failed and SRC had to force Prof to allow students to return to their residences, do we always have to fight management to agree into terms? Prof, can you just clarify that? It seems as if Phineas is saying that if it was not for SRC and students fighting, you guys wouldn't have allowed them back to campus. What is the actual plan with regards to you guys?
That's not true. That's not true. They must ask the SRC.
So
there's no way that now we're pressurized, because how would we complete the academic year without students? We said, let's get a chance to plan in order for the same to come back properly on Friday, meaning tomorrow they are allowed to come back to their residency. So that now on Monday, we can start with the practicals in the first place. We have started already with remote teaching and learning. So nobody put pressure on us. They can go and verify this with the SRC, who was part of this planning.
Now, the other question was relating to first-time applicants. I know that it is not your portfolio, but I'm hopeful that perhaps you can just give us a light in terms of what's going to happen to those that are applying in the university for the first time. How does that process work?
Remember, we have received by September almost 122,000 applications. And then we say, if we are not full by March next year, will open for further application online. So that process is still on. But we are going to wait and admit those students that we have already sent the letter to say you are provisionally accepted pending your matric results. So when those results are out and we see that now everyone that we've admitted is qualified to come, we'll write them a letter to say come. If some of them don't come, then we'll open online application next year. No walk-in. Online application is to still admit the students who qualify. So that is still the thing that we do on a yearly basis.
Interesting. Another question here is Mashiko Christina Matlo, who has asked two questions. I'm going to just club them into one. And I think the first one is the university going to dispatch masks again for the 2021 academic year when the students come in? And then the second one is, are you guys going to send them permits as they come to the university, or they just come? How is that going to happen administratively?
The permit will be issued by faculties motivated. The purpose of the permit is to allow students to go to specific laboratory practicals. It's not for them to come to the campus. Let me make it clear. So they will be coming to the campus as of tomorrow. We know it's not everybody who want to remain in Pretoria. Those who want to come and pick up their staff from the rooms, they will be allowed to do so from tomorrow and come and pick their staff and go back in order to link online. But for those who want to be in their residencies, they will be allowed in their residencies and be connected online. So those who want to go to the library, we are going to have use the permit that we are going to issue to control the numbers, so that now we don't have more than enough numbers at a specific venue, in the eye center, in the library, in the laboratory, in the classroom, where there will be some classroom running. So that's the purpose of the permit.
Interesting. I think this also answers the question that was asked by Mpho Balwelungwan, who wanted to know whether it's compulsory to go back to residences. And I think that one was clarified. And here's another one here. Andy wants to know that what will happen when the president announces sooner that we're going back to level 4 due to skyrocketing or affected citizens?
With that one, we cannot guess and anticipate, Mukete. We just take it. The president has announced level 3. We are waiting everything based on level 3. If there's any new announcement with new restrictions, we will communicate properly with students. We cannot preempt what the president will announce. As for now, what we have is lockdown level 3. That's where our plan is based on.
Interesting. And I think another one here coming through from Manile. So what will happen if the unforeseen circumstances, were to occur? I think that's what he meant, were to occur, where some of the students are to become infected by this pandemic. Is the university, or does the university have the measures in place to assist them? And he says, I'm asking this because public and private hospitals are currently full as we speak. And furthermore, in other institutions such as VETS and UP, they wrote the assessment online. Why is it difficult with the People's University to go that way in preserving the life of the poor and the working class?
We are working very hard to get this online assessment, but we can't just rush into things that we know we don't have the proper control mechanism. Just before we close, we're inviting people to talk to us how we can effectively run online exams. But for now, I can't just say tomorrow, implement online, when we know those who tried it, they've done it dismally. So when we implement it, we'll be sure that it will be running properly. As I speak with you now, we are doing everything to make sure that now we are going to get a proper app which will be able to assist us to run online exams. But for this year, it's not on the table.
Interesting. It's 41 minutes after 4 o'clock. Tshwane FM 93.6 and TUT FM 96.2, your ultimate dial. That's exactly where we're coming through to you live. And of course, if you want to ask any question, feel free to just send your comments, your questions on those social media pages. On Tshwane FM, it is Tshwane Space FM Space 93.6, where we're also coming through to you live. And for TUT FM, it is TUT FM 96.2. That's your ultimate dial. And I'll be checking some of those comments and questions as they are coming through, and as we attempt to bring clarity to all those questions that are being asked at this point in time. Kiamo wants to know, where are the laptops for students? Is that still coming, Prof?
Look at it. I keep on repeating this thing 20 times every time I talk to the students. TUT had never promised students laptops because I always say we don't have that money to buy laptops. We don't have that money. If we were to buy laptops, we require more than 400 million rand. Where do we get that money from? So the only people who receive laptops, which is being planned by DHET, is those students who are having an NS fund. As I speak with you, we're also discussing what will we do in future to levy students to get laptops. But for now, we don't have that option. We don't have those laptops because where will we get the money to buy them in the first place?
Interesting. Phineas Kapula says, did the university impose any regulations on residences since they see different rules and some of the rules appear to be very harsh to students, like the ones of Fatima Towers? Are you privy to that information, Prof?
I'm not privy to that information. I think Lazel or Nita can respond to that question easily because they are dealing with the housing issue. So I was not informed of any challenge or there are some different rules that apply at the residences other than what we know regarding COVID-19.
Interesting. Phineas, I tell you what, my brother, we were supposed to have a number of other, members of, the university. But of course, due to unforeseen circumstances and looking at the time of the year, some were unable to definitely come through for today. But I am pledging to you guys that I'll definitely make sure that I organize for next week to speak to them, especially those that are in your residences and perhaps the financial aid as well, to just have a discussion around those if there's any questions relating to that. 4-3 after 4 o'clock, Tshwane FM 93.6 is the station that continues to rock you most. TUT FM 96.2, your ultimate dial. We're coming through to you this afternoon with Professor Mukhola speaking to us. Prof, I think also there's just, burning questions in terms of what were the lessons that you guys learned when you started, the management of COVID-19 when students were on campus in the last quarter of the year 2020, coming into the year 2021. What is it that you guys will be doing differently?
The first lesson we learned that we are too soft, we are too lenient. Students were just roaming the campus without the mask. So we learned that now we can't compromise in any way. We learned that we need to be strict and very strict and stick to the rules. That's what we are going to do now. We also learned that now we can't take things for granted. If the department says this is the way to go, we need to educate our students accordingly. Our staff must read and understand that now I cannot go and stand in front of a class without a mask. And in my classroom, there will be no student who will be attending that classroom without a mask. If that happens, the lecturer concerned must remove that student immediately so that now you don't become a danger for the students. So that now, remember, if you get infected and you go home, you are going to be a danger to your own family. Mukete, it is heartbreaking to hear that now the whole family gets wiped out. The dad, the mama, the children, who died from one common enemy, COVID-19. Because sometimes we are negligent. We don't take things for granted. Seriously, we take things for granted. And we say, no. It won't affect me. COVID doesn't know the color of the skin of the person, the gender, the age. It cuts across, Mukete. Anyone can be affected. Whether you're a president, a teacher, a laborer, a youth. In fact, the new mutation one, the COVID-19, affects younger people between 15 years and 25. They are the mostly affected people. So we can't take a chance at all.
Interesting. Before I go to further questions, Prof, in terms of this new adjustment, what impact will it have on the the already existing plan that you guys had for the completion of the calendar? How will these new changes impact that completion?
It doesn't affect it at all. This is why you realize we still going to write our exams on the 15th of March. This was the plan that we actually already accepted last year. We still are going to accept the new students on the 1st of March. This will be done online. We are going to start with the teaching on the 12th of April. That plan will remain. This is why we say we cannot afford to lose a day between now and the exam. This is why we are banning all the gatherings, all these things that are not necessary. We say no, let's concentrate on the academic project so that now we don't lose an hour a day, so that now we complete this year, write our exams on the 15th, and start our academic year on the 1st of March registration and start classes on the 12th of April this year.
Christopher Mtombeni wants to find out on whether registration for the second semester modules, on whether will it be open since other students did not register them.
Yes, at yes. Students who are experiencing problems, they can consult with their HODs and their deans. We spoke about it yesterday that now, although you have not yet registered for the module and you've got a problem online, please go to class, go to practical. Don't lose a day once you are busy registering that now. The deans are working on that one seriously because we know some students are having a difficulty in registering for the second semester and the second modules. So we have discussed about it and we have agreed. Those students must go to their practicals, they must continue, attend their classes while they are busy registering those modules.
Interesting. And I see Fina says that, Prof, but we have a lecture that says they cannot teach while they are wearing a mask. So if the lecture is not leading by example, why should students follow?
There's no exception. We need to keep it as an exception. If anyone would do that, they must report it immediately. Because there's no way we are going to allow anyone to spread this virus in a classroom. There's no way. We must all comply. We know it's uncomfortable to wear a mask, but it's a must to do.
Interesting. And there's Khoti Kikana here who's saying, so for those who are writing re-exams as of Monday, when and how will they get hold of timetables?
They can consult their department and then they'll be able to get that printed for them. And we are saying, please prepare for the exams because now this is a bridge for your academic project. So we are going to make sure that now, even in those exams, we are going to have proper ventilation. Everyone sitting in that exam room will be wearing a mask. Everyone.
49 minutes after 4 o'clock. We're just about 10 minutes before we before we let go of Professor Stanley Mukhola. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, be allowing more questions and also an opportunity for Professor to wrap it up for us as we make way for another interview that is coming through. Tshwane FM 93.6, TUT FM 96.2. That's exactly where we're coming through to you live on this lovely afternoon. 7 days into January. It is the year 2021, while we're still battling with the coronavirus pandemic that has led us to so many challenges in our space. A quick break. When we come back, we proceed with this conversation. 0123249936. I'll be checking some of your calls, but of course on Facebook, I'm just heading to all those comments. I'm reading all of them. We're coming through as well on YouTube, so feel free to engage with us in any means that you are able to come through to us. Even WhatsApps on 0825385810.
You know, some of the churches, they don't need your qualification. They have nothing to do with your education, Vujisha. Vujisha! Boy, since it was 1909, 1910, long before I was born, Saulo, 1916, Vujisha. They're 1928. Mandela ba motshwara e ba moya. Saulo ole seala. Malibele ke 2015. Ba tshaba le yopela ba e hama. Raba Saulo. Raba.
The best.
Tshwane FM 93.6.
Call us now, 010-382-4936. That's 012-382-493.6.
52 minutes after 6 o'clock, and just in the South African Broadcasting Corporation announced today that it has retrenched just around 303 of its staff members following its lengthy sanction of 189 consultation process. Late last year, the public broadcaster announced that it temporarily halted the process and rather consultation process for that matter after being confronted by angry staff. Now, more than 600 personnel were expected to be affected. However, in a statement, the SABC said the final number of redundancies were dependent on the acceptance of the proposed alternatives and the number of employees who would opt for voluntary severance packages and early retirement. Sure, hectic, tough times indeed ahead. 53 minutes have gone since the hour 4 o'clock. If you just jumped in, this is Tshwane FM 93.6. It is the station that rocks you most. If you're in the north of Pretoria or in parts of Soshanguve or Johannesburg, you're probably listening to TUT FM 96.2. It is the ultimate dial. My name is Mokete Radebe. I am your news pioneer, and we're having a lovely discussion with Professor Mukhola here, who's the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Teaching, Learning and Technology. And my role is very simple. I take your questions and I just, take them directly to him. A quick one, and so many questions. Just a short break. Okay, here's Siyabonga Buthelezi, who says, who is responsible to check if students or staff are complying with COVID-19 regulations and who will be charging them? And Prof...
It's a very good question, Mukiti. We are planning around them. They will see a lot of people. They will be identified. They will be wearing some stuff to make sure that now we identify them. From Monday, you'll be seeing those people around the campus. We'll be monitoring that every one of us, staff, students, are wearing our masks. So they must not worry about that one. The plan is on the table now to make sure that now we have those people who are with us.
Hey, Prof, you have hired Izimpimpi. They are going to be banned most.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But these people should be identified. We can see them.
Hey, man. Go busy, man. Siyabonga says, Prof, there are students who have not received data since the remote learning was introduced, and other students changed their numbers. What is the plan on that? Second, students are still... Yeah. Yes, Prof.
I get what it's a student who keep on every 2 weeks. They change their SIM card. What's the reason? I don't understand that part. Anyway, they are going to receive their data between this week and Sunday. We have already done the plan. You see our communication on the VC indicates that we are going to roll out the data to all our students as of this weekend, latest Sunday.
Here's an interesting question from Leshokhonolo, who says, according to the statistics of exam results, does the university think this remote learning is effective enough for students?
It's working very well with people, I can assure you. I've seen that and I was really worried before, but I think the way our students are engaging in this remote learning is wonderful. We are very, very happy. It's working very, very well. This is why we say teaching is not a problem. You interact with your students, they download, they repeat within the lesson because they record everything that they are being taught. So that for me is going very, very well.
Interesting. Gerald Basimane says, Mr. Pioneer, can you please ask for me the Prof? Can the Prof please assure that students that there will be that, okay, that I think he means that the 2020 academic year will be finished on March as stipulated, or that will be communicated in due course. Yeah. So
yes, I can guarantee you that. This is why I say the student must help us to achieve that by not doing unnecessary things. If we can agree that we are not going to allow us to lose a day, indeed, we'll complete by March as we planned.
And when is the 2021 academic year beginning?
The beginning of the academic year 2021, first registration for first years is the 1st of March. Registration of senior students will be from the 12th once classes start on the 12th. So we'll inform them to register before the 12th, so that on the 12th, then the classes are going to continue.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Phineas wants to wants to be taken back to Pretoria Showgrounds for exams since the tent is expensive, and he says it is not safe to write inside when it's raining. So please, Prof, and you saw last year during rain times how water flow inside the tent while students write.
You can see now what they've done around the tent. They must not worry. They put up the same bed as the requested bed to mean that there's control of water. So they must not worry about that. Anyway, the small number that is writing now, it's not as if it's a main exam like we had before. So that has been taken care of. And in case there's a huge problem, we can still use it in our halls, our building spaces, the 2-1. So that part has been taken care of.
Interesting. And Sefafe, Richard Bongani says, can you please provide clarity on the matter of permits? And this time around, I think what he wants to understand is, are you saying, Prof, that this time around for students to come back to campus, they won't need permit? However, they will need permits in terms of accessing specific facilities. Is that what you were saying?
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That this why you see they are going to issue permits for all the students. But those permits are required when you go to a specific laboratory, when you go to the library, when you go to an eye center, because we need to have numbers that we can manage all the time. So if we don't have those, we're not able to control this number.
Thokozani Mari says, can the DVC enlighten us on why they decided to bring tents on campus for students to write their exams, as these tents were exposed by heavy rain? Students were disturbed and probably lost concentration. Why didn't they make arrangements with authorities to transport students to showgrounds like they usually did? How will he ensure that such a thing doesn't occur again?
The showground was not available for us. This is why we are trying to build our own, so that now we don't get this inconvenience. When we started training for the exams, when we approach the test center, they told us now they are not available for us. Hence, we have to hire those tents that we sold, so that now we don't compromise our students, they fit for exams. It was not our own making. It was because it was beyond our control.
Thokozani says, why are students required to have permits just for going to the library? But here's the point he's raising. He says, so if students decide on that particular day to go to the library, where are they supposed to get that permit? I think it's an important point, but if we can just coin it differently, how will the administration of these permits work? What will be the limitations, Prof? And what exactly will the permit entail?
It's simple. The permit is required when you enter a specific venue. For instance, say you go to the library, they say we only need 50 at a time. When you enter the library, we take that permit, we count you up to 50 stop. Then when somebody moves out, then we can put somebody in. That is something that is for planning purposes.
Interesting.
Not nothing else. It's for planning purposes.
Interesting. It's 5 on top of the hour, and we'll definitely have to move to another discussion due to time. But before we do that, 2 questions, and this one are from Kagiso Komani. And Kagiso wants to know, Prof, is everyone going to write exams in March? What about those that are writing integral tests?
All our second semester exams start in March, so is our year courses. So everyone who is doing a year course will write in March. Everyone doing the second semester will write in March. So that's the basis.
Interesting. Kiyamo Masiki says, how then is the university expecting students to perform well in their academics if there's not enough material to support them? And how is the new app going to assist students? The majority of those students do not have access to laptops in particularly, considering the fact that majority of the populace of People's University come from underprivileged home structures. And I think the question is that with the new app that we're speaking about so much, the majority of students do not necessarily have the appropriate devices to utilize that app. How is that going through, Prof?
No, I always said, unfortunately, the university cannot supply students with the laptop. That's unfortunate. And we are happy that now the first semester that we have through this COVID-19 worked perfectly with what our students have, the smartphone. This is why we are using that option even now. But in future, if students can pay for the loan of the laptop, that will be the bonus for us because that's where we are heading to. But for now, we can only do with what we have.
I hear you. Tenelo Sabina says, okay, yes, the live will definitely be saved. Okay, just on a closing remark, Prof, I know that I would have loved to have you longer. I know that our students would have loved you to actually, speak to you longer. Now, in your closing arguments, Prof, may you please answer these two questions? And this one is from _legends, who says, what about us as at campus? Our particles are so unpredictable. I'm worried. And Vukosi favored Nuni says, thanks to TUT in large, since the virus started, we never heard about TUT students and management being infected in news like TUT strike. Big up to the image of TUT. So you can just answer the _legends one regarding the art students in your closing remarks as you say goodbye to us, Prof.
No, indeed, we know that now all our students in the art require practical. This is how we explain for them that now each one is receiving a permit so that now they can be planning properly. Who comes into the studios to do the actual practical. That's why we want to make sure that now our students continue to get this hands-on practical, but we'll be able to empower them to become better graduates. That's the plan, Nikki.
Interesting. This is where we leave it. It's 3 minutes after the hour, 5 o'clock. Professor Mukhola is the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Teaching and Learning with Technology at the Tshwane University of Technology. Professor, thank you so much for speaking to us. May you have a lovely evening ahead. And I know that you're not going to be a stranger. We want to have you once more to talk to us.
Always, always. And I want to wish all our students really the safe trip wherever they are coming from tomorrow. They must travel safe. Make sure that the taxi that you travel in, the bus that you are in, the train that you are in, you keep a distance and always wear your mask because now we don't want you to contract this disease on your way to Pretoria. Thank you very, very much. Have a lovely evening to your listeners.
Interesting. 4 minutes after 5 o'clock. This one is my Parajes. It's a song titled John Fulikate. And on this one, we're just making way for Miss V to come and talk to us at the Motivation Corner. Tshwane, good afternoon. Sure, Prof. They didn't.
I
Everything I said, though. Everything I put again. 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 I fully get it. Trying to 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 put again. Call us now. 012-382-4936. That's 012-382-4. 93.6.
Yeah, no, we're just jumping ahead.
So I'm a last keep sorry. Tell me now, tell me sometimes when I go to the solar. I do your go shot. I want to party. Sometimes when I go to the solar. I do your go shot. I time to party.
Yeah, you know what?
So I'm a last keep sorry. Tell me now, tell me sometimes now when I go to the solar. I do your go shot. I want to party. Sometimes now when I go to the solar. I do your go shot. I time to party.
This is Tshwane FM 93.6.
I said, Peter, check it out, y'all, right now.
93.6.
13 minutes after 5 o'clock, Tshwane FM 93.6 is still the station that continues to rock you most. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are still on the Capital Talk, and I'm joined by Miss V now for the motivation section of the Capital Talk on this lovely Thursday afternoon. And just news making headlines as well, and also just trending on Twitter. WhatsApp, it's said to be changing its terms of service to force users to share personal data, and this is including phone numbers and location with its parent company, Facebook. Some critics, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk, have suggested users to move to encrypted messaging app Signal and Telegram. A WhatsApp spokesperson told Ask Technica that the change was to allow businesses to store WhatsApp chats using Facebook infrastructure. The messaging app sells itself as a privately focused service and visits Business Insider's homepage for more stories. However, WhatsApp, the encrypted messaging app that sells itself as a privacy-focused service, will start indeed, pushing that impact. And this was sent out in an announcement yesterday in a statement. And it appears as though that most people might consider moving to Telegram. And I've seen just a number of other people that have actually moved to Telegram. And for today's discussion, we're looking at, jumping into 2021 and just not forgetting the scars of 2020. And how do we move into 2021 with all the challenges that we've seen in 2020? I mean, with retrenchments being on the rise, there's young people that are listening to the show now or viewing on social media that are graduates that are hoping to get employment. And it just becomes so difficult to imagine a positive future with everything that is happening. And just speaking about unemployment, a big story there is that SABC has actually announced that they will be retrenching around 303 employees, in this year. The bigger question is, if I'm studying journalism at a university, I mean, we have 26 public universities. I could imagine how many graduates are in that space. Does it not bother you? Does it not scare you, to think that, I'm studying in this qualification, but I might actually be, going into a profession where people are being retrenched. Miss V is in the house. She's joining us. Hi, how are you, ma'am?
Good evening, I guess. I'm fabulous. Happy 2021 to you all.
Welcome back home.
Yeah, this is home. Definitely, if I don't get an interview from this station, I'll be like, I want to be like, hi.
But yeah, compliments into the new year. 2020 has been, some people say it has been painful. I'm saying it has been educational.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
You know what? I've even shared this with friends and family. I was saying that 2021 was a learning curve. It was one of those harshest and hardest life's lessons. And then unfortunately, this time around, we all had to learn as a collective.
Sure.
It's like, the universe was like, you gonna learn. Like we were learning, everything was coming up. We're confused. People were reading up for the first time. Everybody and everything was, was threatened. And then everybody felt I am directly impacted. It's not like it's indirect or Kiko next door or, stuff like that. It was something that was affecting each and every individual. Every decision that you make can land you in hospital or in
Sure.
a graveyard. And then businesses, young businesses, they were losing their footing. Anybody who was starting last year, they were starting on a very rocky environment.
Sure.
Learning was becoming harder. Nobody had a chance to sit down and mentor you, or had even the time to say, this is what I'm busy with, because everybody was busy, protecting their legacy, protecting their businesses, protecting themselves and their clients. So it was a very hard year. And then I believe everything that happens is a lesson. So you take it as a lesson, and then this year it's a year to shine. We have learned, now we know how to protect ourselves. We know what to do. And then we are still learning. It's ever evolving virus, and then the impact is ever evolving. Not worry, something that has happened last year, we've learned and then it's done. No, we got the heads up. We have learned. Now we are applying what we have learned. We are coming up with solutions. We are coming up with plan LMWXYZ AABB. We're no longer on AB, plan A or B. So that's what it is. So with everything, our lives, business, school, home, everything we have learned last year. This year we are applying. This year Rashina. This year Arsatoch. Last year we were scared. It was the unknown. Now we know what this whole virus is about. We know how the economic is, how it impacted, and how it might be further impacted. So
interesting.
Yeah.
18 minutes after 5 o'clock, that is. Tshwane FM 93.6, the capital talk is where we are at. Today I'm coming through to you live between 3 and 6 p.m. And thank you so much for your patience with us and for your continued support on this lovely medium. And I believe colleagues at GTFM 96.2 have continued to broadcast in other engagements in terms of that side. But thank you so much for tuning in into that station as well. That's our sister station as we make these collaborative broadcasts, especially the exclusive ones. Ms. V is in the house. As an author and as an entrepreneur, I want to say it correctly, entrepreneur, entrepreneur, consultant, specialist, that is. What did you personally learn in 2020?
I've learned what I've been preaching. That's one thing.
Well, about yourself.
Yeah, about myself.
Yeah.
Business-wise, business is me. My business is me. I take it personal. It's part of me.
Correct.
It's my empire. It's my vision. I'm bringing it to life, and then I'm sharing it with everybody.
Yes.
Business-wise, I had to pause. I had to accept that I had to pause, because you had choices. It's either you carry on fighting, which is not wrong, or you give up, or you sit back and re-strategize. I'm more about strategies than anything else. I like working smart.
Sure.
Then I work smart before I work hard,
Yeah.
and then I play as hard. So I had to pause. I had to stop. Last year I was planning a national tour, launching my books. I couldn't travel. We were on lockdown. You had to refund. The most painful thing is you see everything working. Money is coming and you're like, 2020 is a year to shine. Every year we feel like that. And then I had to refund. I had to refund.
You had to pay back the man.
Yeah, and then I had to stay hopeful at the same time. I all the venues that I've booked, I was like, hold on to the money. We'll see how this year is gonna go. That's what I did. In terms of people who bought the tickets, I had to pay them back, because you start realizing after June, when they were relaxing the lockdown rules and everything and regulations, and then this person, you start being affected indirectly. So and so that we are at a point right now. Most of us have somebody who has passed on, somebody who got infected and recovered. You got somebody who was affected and never recovered financially, work-wise. Some people lost their works, their jobs. And I was like, okay, I think it's only fair that I refund them. That 300 nyana, that 400 nyana will help with something in their house. But then at the same time, as business folk were Where were we? And then you apply for the business funding. There's this and that. And I'm that person, I've never really, the government is here, the government is good for some things. But then I was never that person who relied on somebody else or something else for my business, for my funding. So I believe what my vision is strong enough. I love it, and it's going to bring change. And then the right people will hear my call and they will come through. So I never got funding. Even if I tried, I got the forms. I was like, no, this is just too much. I'm going to put it there. Let me re-strategize. Let me see how I'm going to do that. I signed a deal. I didn't just sit down while I'm re-strategizing. I had a deal with Creative Books, South Africa. Instead of selling from the boot of my car or from Instagram or Facebook, I got a deal. I got some people approaching me. I was like, lockdown is not so bad. Only if you're applying your strategies and your mind and you're consulting with people as well. That's the other thing about business. We must learn to build community in the business sense. And that's what I always encourage. When I meet somebody and they're like, I want you to come and talk. How much do you charge? And I say, let me see what you have for me. And then if you have a business that is planning to have year-long events, I'd rather be part of you for the whole year than having you pay me once. So tit for tat. I'm growing my network. I'm growing friendships in business. At the same time, I'm getting exposure and I'm getting paid longer than just once. So those are the things that as the youth, we must learn to do. Never be dependent on anybody or anything. Stop saying government this, government that. They do not owe you anything. Yes, they make promises. They want your votes. But then how many things, there are places where the sewage system is not in place. So who am I to come and ask you for, just give me 150,000 and I need to do this event? Who am I? That's how I put my thinking when coming to business. And I believe that whatever I do, because of the passion and hard work, I will get whatever I want. I don't just sleep. I sleep my business. I eat my business. I live my business. My business is me. I'm a walking brand. Even my mask, Kimmy's V. So when you're sitting there and you're looking at me, it's like, who's this person? It's me. What do you want to know about me? Then we start talking.
Interesting. 24 minutes after 5 o'clock. And I like the entrepreneurial spirit, and I think it's something that needs to be preached quite a lot in basic education and in tertiary institutions as well. But what about those that they're saying, I just want a safe route, I want to be employed, and we're seeing these retrenchments. What's your word of advice to them? Coming into 2021.
Fact is, not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody is a born leader. We need somebody to, that is why there's a cleaner. Not that you look down on them. If that person was not cleaning, who was going to be cleaning? Because you want to sit behind the mic. So if Valerie is cleaning, then respect that. So the first thing is that you must first understand who you are. I always preach that. Your capabilities, your strengths, and your weaknesses. If you just want to be employed, it's very hard. People are getting retrenched. Private businesses, that's where growth is rapid, is fast. But then they're not employing because they are struggling themselves. They are trying to hang on to whatever they are having. So when you want to get employed at this point in time, always have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H. That's what I always say. Not everybody's an entrepreneur, but then you do have something to offer into somebody's business. That is why you have a business owner, and then you have the secretary, you have the marketing manager, you have this and this and that. Find a way to fit in those young businesses, those big businesses, as well as the government. And if you are passionate about something, don't say, Koya, I'm preaching, these days I'm preaching against creche, grade RR, grade R, primary, secondary, high school, tertiary work. It no longer works like that. As a parent, as a mentor, you can be a mentor as a sister, you can be in tertiary or high school, and then you see something special in a young child. Monitor that and then ignite that spirit where you are good at this. How far can we go with it?
Sure.
So now instead of, we cannot all be entrepreneurs, but then we can all be specialists. We can bring something in any government sector, private sector, the business sector, international. We all have that potential. First of all, we need to understand who we are. We need to encourage people to do what they know they can do. Don't do something because it's such a lady. We used to do that. Subject we used to do that. That's why everybody did computer. They're sitting there, they only know the basic Windows 95. We are way past that.
Sure.
You see what I mean? We need to grow that. I was also giving this example. You know, my son turned 9 yesterday. And I always say to people that, you know, if my son said, Mama, you're not a taxi driver, it's my responsibility to nurture what is it that they want to do. But then I will take it a step further. You can be greater than a taxi driver. You can be a taxi owner or association. You can even lead it.
Sure.
Instead of me wasting my time go tertiary or whatever, I'm gonna host at 16, you're getting your learners. Whole 18, you're getting your license, and then I'm buying you your taxi. In 2 years' time, I want you to at least have a deposit for another taxi. I'll match it. In 5 years' time, I want you to have 2 or 3 taxis. If Euyapala hacks back to school. So we need to see what is our capabilities. We need to nurture that. And then lower into the working space. Don't just go there and just be a secretary. I always motivate secretaries in the government sector. You are exposed to everything and everyone. While you're sitting there, everything that passes your desk that has to go to your boss, ebale. Or man is getting fired or man is going on maternity leave. Bala. Read these things, learn and ask questions. And then you can be more than just a secretary. You can be a PA, a minister, or even a president. You know how much those people earn?
Sure.
They earn a lot. So what I'm saying is that even if you're going to the working space, the working environment, first of all, don't be any under illusion that your qualification it's a key to that certain door. You have to knock, you have to break windows and kick doors to get into that market. And then once you get there, you have to work your butt off.
Sure.
For yourself. Not to prove to your boss, to prove to yourself, well, I can go this far, I can stretch this far. And then your dream must evolve. It's hard. It's not easy. You can be at home for 5 years without employment. But then, catalog, you cannot mention them, will be marketing for other businesses.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. While you're looking for a job, do something else.
Also, you know what
I mean? Ask me. Please. I know how.
I know how. Exactly. 30 minutes after 5 o'clock. I'm saying it's just so random that you spoke about the transport industry and taxi to be specific. And I think throughout this lockdown, e-commerce has been the biggest thing, and the transportation of people and goods were vividly, essential services. And I think it's an underrated sector, but it's a very long-standing sector. I know that it's not regulated at this point in time, and I think it needs to be regulated, but I think there's enormous opportunities. Quite frankly, that industry has built so many communities, there's no area where you go where don't have a taxi.
There is taxi.
Yeah,
there'll be that one taxi.
There's always
There'll always be. I think it's underrated. I think they also underrate themselves.
Correct.
Because they were very essential.
Sure.
They were the only ones who operated throughout lockdown. If you can look at it, they were the only ones. Your nurses and your everything. The nurse to get to wherever they're going. The transport. You know what I mean? So they also, it's something that, it's up to them. Like what it's an athletics association, but then, but once they're more, the buckets are serious, but then I think they don't see the potential there.
They have.
But
Someone said the president can be from the association. 31 minutes after 5. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we continue this lovely discussion with our guest here, Miss V.
I've spoken. Unlock room 912.
Good morning, my favorite lady, Lena.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, madam?
Okay, thank you.
You make me to every time like I'm asking myself to room myself because of your voice.
Oh, wow, thank you. We will continue. How's your day?
So good. Just let me say, hear your beautiful voice. Oh, man.
Oh, wow, okay.
That guy, man. Not everyone knows you are alive on air. The language is lacking. Oh, man, come on, that is so much.
Room 912 weekdays on Tshwane FM 93.6.
Call us now, 012-382-4936. That's 012-382-4936. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love you.
Best music. Your station, your music.
She goes by the name of Makazi, and she's featuring Chamagelo on this one. It's Temba Mutu. Good afternoon. She is the vendor queen, man, and this one is titled Tambamutu, and it's in the album titled Kokova. Yeah, man, amazing music from this young lady. I must say, she did so well. I mean, just compliments as well to her song of the year, man, Murau. She's definitely doing so much. I know that a neighbor of mine, Hangwi, we are at a Hambet, and as a vendor, and the short time, where's we are this one. It's a very nice song indeed. 37 minutes after the hour 5 o'clock, and it's just so amazing that even though you don't necessarily understand Chivenda, but you can just hear what name and there's a message behind this song, and that's exactly what this one says. Baramutu Okasimu confirming. Just also news in the way further concerns just this morning around the progress of matric exam marking. This is in light of the rapidly rising COVID-19 infections numbers. The National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa, better known as NAPTOSA, it's worried that the process might have to be interrupted. Now, last week, more than 800 Gauteng teachers pulled out of the marking process, citing, among others, the increased risk due to commodities and fears of contracting the coronavirus as they work in communal settings. Meanwhile, the Department of Basic Education issued new directives to ensure all those involved in the marking of the final exam scripts abide by the health and safety protocols. However, teachers remain worried about their health, and with good reason, because educators have been hit particularly hard by the pandemic, with more teachers dying of the virus than the health workers and COPs combined. NAPSOSA's Basil Manuel said that the union feared that the marking process may be delayed by the spike in COVID infections. He said that they see that in Gauteng, over 800 teachers have withdrawn from the marking, which most of it has to do with COVID. Manuel said that if marking was delayed, this would have a knock-on effect on the 2021 academic calendar. He says with the possibility that it will affect education largely. However, with marking expected to be in full swing across the country on Thursday, the Gauteng Department of Education said teachers who pulled out of the process had already been replaced. In other news, the Congress of South African Trade Unions COSATU in the Western Cape is calling on the Minister of Employment and Labour, Thulas Nxesi, to ban the transportation of farm workers on trucks. This is after the farm workers died and more than 20 people were injured in an accident near Worcester in the Western Cape on Monday. The 4-ton truck was carrying 37 farmers when the driver lost control of the vehicle. COSATU's Marvel de Bruin wants the Human Rights Commission to investigate this particular incident. He says there is a question of farmers using trucks to transport workers for them. That is a violation of those workers' rights. The Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Minister Thoko Didiza has also called on stakeholders in the sector to look at the issue of transportation of farm workers in the country. It's 40 minutes now after the hour 5 o'clock. Tshwane FM 93.6 remains the station that rocks you most. You are on the Capital Talk between 3 and 6 p.m. on this specific Thursday with myself, Mokete Radebe. I am your news pioneer. I'm not going solo. I'm joined by a lovely guest. That is Miss V. She's an author, an entrepreneur. Are you a public speaker or a motivator?
I'm an inspirational speaker.
Inspirational
Yes.
speaker.
I walk the road with you.
I love that. I love that. That's a good title. Speaking about inspirational and inspiring things, you published, was it 4 or 5 books?
5 books.
At once?
In 1 year. 10 months, actually. Yeah.
Joanne.
I don't know, but then I can tell you what happened, but then how it came about, it was not, when God's plan.
Yeah.
I never thought, I would even write anything. I would write, for Facebook, for inspiration, those motivational Mondays and all of that.
Yeah.
And people kept on saying, well, why don't you put this in a book? And I was like, then how? But like, this is just 4 sentences. Like, how am I going to write the whole page? Then the first book, what I did, everything that I've been sharing, original messages, not from anybody. I didn't copy anyone. It was everything from me. Then I took and I put it in the first book. It's just punchline after punchline after punchline. There's no story. There's nothing like straight to the top. It's just a real talk all the way. Then after that one, I looked at it and I was like, man, this book, it looks a bit thin for my liking. I want to talk some more. It ignited something in me. And I was like, okay, let me just elaborate more on that book. The first one was point of view, my perspective. It's my perspective on all the topics. I talk about family, I talk about love, I talk about relationships, but then most of all, I talk about, self-love, self-motivation, self-growth and everything. Yeah. So with all my books, or 5 of them, the first chapter in each and every book is about self. For you to be a good partner, you have to be good to yourself and have something good to offer before you can receive, or you can know how to receive. For you to be part of a family, you need to understand what is it that you're bringing to the unit. For you to be, work-wise with colleagues, part of the community, part of, friendships and whatnot, it starts with you. So you cannot solve anything or overcome anything if you don't understand who you are, what is your purpose, and then what is your journey, what is it that you're meant to be doing. Because when we were born, all of us, there's a reason why you were born. There's a reason, even if something bad happens to you, there's a reason why that bad thing happened to you, so that you can help million others. Like Morena Jesus, become the sacrifice for everybody to know that, okay, I must not walk this route. Or I must learn from this person. So that's what I've been doing. I'm inspiring person. The reason why I do motivational speaking. When I send things, it's motivational because I'm just sending it to you for you to do with the information whatever you please. But then when I'm saying I'm an inspirational speaker, what I do every year, I take 1 or not more than 3 young entrepreneurs, whoever wants to start a business, whatever they want to start. Or whatever they are going through. It's not just about business, it's also about personal life. If you're going through divorce, you're widowed, you're young, you're in your 20s, you go through divorce and whatnot, or you're going into a marriage. I also take those cases. Then for the year, I dedicated a year to you. And then I check on you, and then I inspire you. That's how I inspire you. We talk about life. What makes me different is the fact that I don't go by the textbook or stage 1. We have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I connect with you. We are all individuals. We are all uniquely built, and then we are different characters. So I deal with you according to your experience, according to your situation, according to your character. We look at your background. We look at how you grew up. We look at where you want to go, and then how are we going to get you there? So I walk the journey with you. So that's how I become an inspirational speaker or inspirational partner or inspirational sister. So that's why I'm always saying I'm a mother first. I'm a natural of anything. So I'm not a mother I'm a mother of 10 kids or whatever. Okay, some of them are my kids because they're in high school. No, I'm not that strong. I'm not that healthy to do 10. I only have 2.
For now. 45 after 5 o'clock.
Wow.
I think your husband will love the for now part. 45 minutes after 5 o'clock, Tshwane FM 93.6. We're speaking to the inspirational Miss V with us at this point in time. Now, the first book was your perspective.
Point of view, my perspective.
The second one,
point of view, my perspective elaborated.
Okay.
It's thicker.
It's thicker.
So what I did is I took the first book. The first book is like an index for the four books.
Okay.
In the first book, the first chapter, it's about self. Then we come about relationships. We do love, and then we do family.
Yeah.
So in the first book, we cover all those 4 topics.
Okay.
But then, in a very felt like
you summarize it.
Yeah, we touch the nerve. That's what I was doing. Like I put it because we are so afraid to talk about things.
I hear you.
And then I always tell people whenever I'm doing the talks, I'm not here to sell you drinks. I'm a human being. I'm like you. Chances are we are even going through the same thing,
Correct.
you and I. But then because people are trained to be motivational speakers, you are trained to sell a dream, you are trained to tell everybody, I want to be a billionaire by next week. And they're like, you can't do it. No, I'm going to be like, Baba, what are you doing now? Let's start with what you are doing now.
Correct.
And then how are we going to get there? And oh, by the way, 2 weeks is not going to work. I'm not killing your dreams. We are building a foundation. We're building an empire. We're building something for your kids for generations to come. So the second one is point of view, my perspective elaborated, and then it's about self. That's where you get to know and understand who's Miss V, and then what I've went through. So I just give you a snippet about myself, and then just to show what I'm also human. I'm also going through this. Some of them I've overcome, some I'm still overcoming even now, just like you and I. I'm a human. And then the third one is about relationships. I'm not talking about relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife. I'm talking about all kinds of relationships. A relationship with your parents, a relationship with yourself, with your
the most
colleagues.
important one, actually.
Yes. It starts with a relationship with yourself, relationship with your partner, with your family, with your colleagues, with the community. That's the relationships that I'm talking about. Some people are like, I didn't get a relationship. I umjolo. And then I'm like, no. Read, let's fix ourselves before umjolo wins something to us. And then I talk about love. I talk about self-love. I talk about how to be able to see real love, to respect love, to understand love, so that you can be able to receive love and healthy love. That is, people who grow up, for an example, I'm not saying everybody. Some people, they're so used to toxicity, moiloring. If you're in a relationship with somebody else who's clapping, you feel like 100.
Yes.
But I would clap somebody else. You know, so I'm trying to teach you.
Tapile is not many enough.
You know,
just to step you. It's so funny that you mentioned it, because of some people think that's a fallacy. It actually happens. There is areas where we meet girls who would say, not a one chapa, get the next.
Unfortunately, that's the other things that I touch on. It's your experience. Remember, your experience is your exposure. That's what it is. So if you're exposed to pain is all that you're gonna know, and then pain is what you're gonna bring. And then for you to recognize pain, you need to know and understand what it's pain. Some people, some people, they do certain things to hurt people, not what it's on purpose. It's all they know. You grow up in a broken family. There's nobody who's showing you any better. The whole family, to your aunts and your uncles, all of them are raised in a toxic environment. All you know is that. Then you meet a guy, I meet a gentleman, and then one day, then I'm like, this guy, hi man, I give him strong man, you know what I mean? So, amen. Get this, like, I know. You know what I mean? So I teach you how to, it's very important to be able to understand what love is, to be able to give love, be comfortable enough to give love, and be comfortable enough to receive love. And then I talk about family. Because family, it will be like 500 pages of book. I touch on black text a bit.
Culture, I could imagine.
About your responsibility in a family, because we don't understand. You feel I should do as I please. A woman must be submissive. No. A woman
crying is my issue here.
And then that's how most men. Is the other thing I want to talk about this year actually, how depression is hitting men because of that attitude.
Is it really an attitude, or it's a systematic it's a systematic guideline that continues, I think, to force us.
It's a cultural and societal thing. A typical example I always give, when when they sit you down as a woman, they tell you, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't ask this, you shouldn't do. That's how women, batswadi wrinkles, batswadi chubaba and everything, is because of that. It affects your mental, your emotions, and your physical, the way you look. It's how you live your life. It's evidence. Your face, it's evidence. And then you get your man, go fetch your wife. You know, that's all you know.
As
and
long
then
as
you
you have
come
money.
and then you meet me and you bring money and I'm like, I also got mine. I got coin. What are you talking about? Friction. Hasn't respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with that. Now if you're my partner, I got you. I got you. I got you. You should just call, you should like December. I surprised my boys. I don't unfortunately I'm the only rose amongst the boys.
Yeah.
So I took them out because now we haven't went out because of the COVID. And then we booked a villa. We had an exclusive villa to ourselves in the jungle. It was a bit scary. Like we shoot Gadil and everything. But it was something like, you know, I got you, baby. We've been together this year as well. We struggled. He's a business person as well. I've seen him going down. I've seen him, you know, crying, losing weight, and then I'm going through that as well. But then, like, you know, we need to balance out.
You shield each other.
You know what I mean? So it was like, here you go. For December, you know what I mean? 2021 is coming, it's another year. So it's those kind of things you learn to appreciate. Some women are taught, Mona must take care of you, Mona must bring the baby. 18,000 so I'm teaching women as well. No.
You know, women are not necessarily like women. We are choosing when we buy things for ourselves. Obviously, we'll go for expensive things.
Yeah.
But the thought because we're not used to receiving. The thought when Miss V went to the shop, thought, I want to buy this trouser for him, whether it's Mr. Price or Pep.
Yeah.
They thought he wanted to buy me something.
They thought that somebody actually thought of you.
It says, oh, I met her as well.
And your love
exactly.
made them feel it that way.
Correct.
Because I want to take care of this person.
Because as men, we hardly get that.
Yeah, but then I teach women to do that. That is why I also have this event. I didn't do it last year. I'm so heartbroken. It's 50 Shades of Pink. It's not under 21s. We teach women, although it's about the naughty section, but then the first section, it's about taking care of yourself, how you should present yourself to a man.
Sure.
You know, you should be clean. You should be proud of your body. You should be clean emotionally when you go, you know, give your man everything.
Sure.
Now we're talking about your mental state. We're talking about your emotional state so that you are confident enough. Don't do anything, you're like, when I stretch my go to zebra, how baby, here I come. You know what I mean? we do. I teach those kind of things when you love yourself and you are so confident, and then you're ready to give love and you exude love.
Sure.
So easy to receive it, and then you're teaching the next person what you're talking about. Even my partner, I celebrate the birthday. I go all out for birthdays. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
I save up for 12 months. I know every year birthday I hit.
Yeah.
I will not write this year.
Yeah.
You know, fortunately,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know every year I have to do something for him. Sure. And then he'll always be like, he has never been excited to receive anything from me. He'll be like, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wanted to. And I set apart savings for this.
Sure.
So you see now, it's telling you about his background. You know what I mean? Now I'm raising my voice to understand what it's okay to be spoiled as a man. It's okay to talk about your feelings. Use your words. Use your words, darling. What is it, my angel? What is wrong? Wipe your tears. Talk to me.
Sure.
I am so sorry you went through that. It's okay. This is how life is. It's gonna happen. Next time when it happens, this is how we deal with it.
Sure.
It's okay.
56 rather after 5 o'clock. I see time is running out.
Yes,
having lovely conversations. You've got amazing books. I know that you said they're available at Exclusive Books.
No, I wish. This is the plan for this year. It's www.creativebooks.sa.co.za. It's also on Instagram and Facebook, Creative Books SA. So that's where you can get my books, and then courier is free. So when you choose your books, we have combos as well, and then you can get that. Otherwise, you can inbox me on Instagram or Facebook at The Real Miss V on both pages. And
how much is the book?
They are all different. Like,
Okay.
They're all different. And then I also have combos, like when I put together, the first one is like I stopped printing. Even the ones that I have now, they were actually limited edition.
Okay.
So this year something is coming. Maybe later this year you're gonna be having me over, and then I'll be telling you what is this thing that I'll be having
Amazing.
this year.
Amazing. I love that. I like the sound of that. Interesting. So you're available on social media even for bookings. If someone was listening and thinking, yo, this person actually can invest, I can use her to invest in my team.
Yeah.
You're available for that as well.
I am available for that. I'm gonna give you my WhatsApp number. Please, it's strictly for business. It's 073-755-4298. It's 073-755-4298. WhatsApp, we don't do good morning and good night. We get straight to business. Hi, Ms. V, I'm so and so. I would like you to help me out with 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll communicate from there on. Anything else, get on no blog.
Sure. 5-8 after 5 o'clock. Tshwane FM 93.6. This is where we leave it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Sorry about that.
Hey, Tara, no. I was actually waiting for that. My colleagues will be taking you through all the way to nighttime. But of course, this is where I leave it for the week. And you want to have an interesting one. I know that, the entertainment guys are going to be with you all the way till Sunday. I'm back again on Monday on the normal slot. That is between 6 and 8 p.m. We do what we do best. And thank you so much for your patience with us. Mori hadileng mohatla tara tshwarele e khutswa ile moto ale mane le rene le matso etsing bana beso 58 minutes after 5 o'clock. We're 7 days into 2021. I hope that you've started the work so that the results can be realized. Aha.
What's up, people? Arcadia, the True, Session, Denver, Morgan, Marabastar, Now Market, Sit Down, Social Movie, Sunnyside, West Park.
Wrap your ears around Tshwane FM 93.6. Your music.
Should we take with your phone? We go ahead on this thing now. Set up.
Sing the song, my sister, it was a long
You know, some of the churches, they don't need your qualification. They have nothing to do with your education, Vujisha. Vujisha. Boy, since it was 1909, 1910, long before I was born, Saulo, Eleseala Casa, 1916, Vujisha, Oleseala. 1928 ahole oleseala Mandela ba motshwara e ba moya Saulo oleseala balibele ke 2015 ba tshaba le yopela ba ihamba raba Saulo raba
the best.
Tshwane FM 93.6.
I sit there, the money so 17 man. I sit there, the money so 17. Miss Obama, Danny, all the time it cool, and I love it too, and Safuno was in ya. Danny, and was a matum, many Obambus, Miss Obama, Danny, all the time it cool, and I love it too, and Safuno was in ya. Danny, and was a matum, many Obambus, Big Soul Venga. Comes up Nama, so my tag is on the man, because the Jeff on my God, no man got to Namna, Petero should make up, they look to listen at work, and you was there at this book 6, say good big on babies, and when Daniel by news, keep his son Japaskis, but soon out to the city, so we are stars are washing, Pebum San Compaction, say you don't the stickings, because a number of my pain, touching the room for an key, cover yourself in a day, because the one was a young young niggas in the side beat. Maybe we have a man high green. Maybe we look at the beats and you know what you're doing. This so bad, Danny,